All right, traders, today I want to give you a super quick and easy strategy that you can go ahead and apply immediately on your charts. No fancy indicators, just pure price action. And the goal is super simple. We're looking for a clean 1 to 2 risk reward setup that works across multiple time frames. And this is actually something that you can go straight on your exchange chart and start spotting right now, whether you're trading the 5 minute, the 1 hour, or even the daily. We need to keep it simple though, stick to the rules, and you'll have a repeatable framework you can test right away. All right, traders. So for this example, we're going to be using Bitcoin, and I'm going to show you real quick how you can use it directly on the Tabbit exchange, for example, which I'm using to trade at the moment. So yes, I do have some positions open. Don't mind that. Currently, we're going to be focusing on the price action that we're seeing here in front of us, specifically this. So the way you're going to be using the strategies, you're going to identify a high and a low, but not in the traditional way that you'd normally identify a high or a low, like a swing high or a swing low. You're going to be looking at the candles candle by candle, and you are identifying the low by looking at where the wicks of the candles are. And if we had a body close to the downside within the latest wick. So for example, over here, you can see that that's a little tiny wick, and then you have a body close below that, and then you don't have a body close below this candle, you just have a wick in that particular example. So that for you is going to mean that over here we're having a low. So, even though we're looking at the chart right now the way it is, you can imagine the price action is over here right now, for example, and we're making this high right now. So, how am I going to identify that this is a high? I'm going to look at the wick below it. So as soon as I see that we have a body close below that wick, which is particularly this bearish candle closes below, as you can see, there is one green candle after, and we're seeing that it's being only wicked, but now we have a body close below it. So for me, now that identifies a high. So I can go ahead and implement my strategy. So now I have a framework over here to work with. The thing that it's most important to identify in that move up, in that leg up, was there any fair value gap right now? So you're seeing that there is a fair value gap indeed, which is over here. And what is a fair value gap? Well, that's an impulsive move up that leaves a space in between the first and the third candle over here. So you want to be marking that. You want to be marking that. So you know that this is pretty much the areas that you're interested in working with. So the next thing you're going to look at is where is the last candle or the first candle in that case that part took in that fair value gap creation, and this is going to be this candle over here. So essentially the way this strategy works is once you identify that bullish leg, once you identify that there's been a candle with a fair value gap, you are going to consider this candle as part of an order block. And in case the red candle was with a smaller wick, you would also consider that one, by the way. But because that's not the case at the moment, we only consider this candle. So what I'm going to do over here is I would be expecting for price action just how it happened to travel to the downside. And I will be placing a position straight at the beginning of this candle wick from this candle which formed our breaker block, our order block in that case. And I will be entering over here in a long position where I will be putting my stop loss just below the lowest point. So for this kind of strategy, you want to be targeting a 1 to 2 and not more than that. And ideally, you would want to also secure your position as soon as price starts moving up. And there is a little bit of more confluences that you can use for these kind of strategies to work particularly in your favor. And that's, for example, you can go lower time frame, many time frames down, like you can go up to the 5 minute time frame, to the 1 minute time frame, where you'll be looking for a low time frame break of structure. You guys are not new in trading, so you understand what a break of structure is. and you would be looking for these ones on a lower time frame to confirm further your entry. So that is one example. And sometimes these trades play so well that you can leave a runner, which I always like to do. Sometimes it takes me at break even, but sometimes I leave 20% runner and then I get rewarded very, very nicely for my patience and trust in the current price action. Of course, you guys know that I use a lot of different tools combined together, but this is just one simple strategy, and I highly recommend that you go ahead and start watching my live streams, because you will see a lot of the setups, a lot of the strategies that I'm using on a daily basis in the Coin Bureau Trading live stream that I hold every Tuesday and Thursday, you guys. All right, so I'm going to give you a short example over here with XRP. As you guys can see, I've already marked the fair value gap over here. This is the recent high. This is the recent low. Why is that? Well, because we've had a body close above this candle over here. So you're looking at the most recent wick to the high. And of course, same thing from the bottom. So you've identified the leg to the downside. And over here, you've identified your fair value gap as well. So now you need to identify your order block. And if you remember, just like we had the example with Bitcoin, I said to you that it's not always the first candle that created or the last, depending on the direction, that created the fair value gap. If there is other candles within this fair value gap, they are valid as well to track. So in that case, this is our order block over here. So we're going to mark that, and then you are going to be expecting to catch a short position from literally the beginning of this order block. That is where you place your position. You put your stop loss above the high, the most recent high, and clear target for a 1-to-2 risk reward ratio. So over here, we've gotten a little bit more, and then price started to reverse. But regardless, this is the strategy. Very simple, super mechanical, you guys. Literally works on all the time frames you can imagine. But as soon as you start testing it, you will realize that you would have preference for time frames across different assets. Also, if you want to take advantage of some extra perks while you trade, you can sign up with Tapbit using the link in the description box below. You get up to $200 in rewards just for joining, plus 0 spot fees, you guys, and bonus offer the more you trade. So go ahead and check out the link, claim your rewards, and I'll catch you in the next video. Happy trading.